This fall, get back in the game with Everplay Sports and Social League, Columbia's home for fun, fitness, and friends. We've got leagues firing up all over town starting September 7th. Mushball softball at T.S. Martin Park, pickleball at Casey Pickleball Complex, turf soccer at Recreation Arena, indoor volleyball at Tri-City Leisure Center, bowling at Lucky Strikes, sand volleyball at Pollywogs, soccer at B Avenue and Bray Park, cornhole at Jay's Corner, hardball softball at Pacific Park, and kickball at M Avenue and B Avenue, including our same team pitch option. Kick it all off at the fall kickoff party, Thursday, September 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Jay's Corner. We're giving away a ton of random raffles, and it's the perfect chance to meet your teammates before the season starts. Register by August 21st to dodge the late fees and score some limited edition fall league shirts. Hit everplaysocial.com to lock in your spot. Everplay Sports and Social. Play hard. Party harder. Hey everybody, Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. Look, one of the things we love to do is shout out small businesses doing cool things. And ZJZ Designs is one of them. They make these awesome seasonal and themed t-shirts, and they're not just eye-catching, they're high quality. I've ordered a few, and they've held up in the wash after wash. Plus, it feels good knowing I'm supporting a creative shop, not just feeding the Amazon machine. So if you want something fresh, funny, and made with a little extra heart, hit up ZJZDesigns.com. You'll definitely find something there to love. ZJZDesigns.com. Check them out. Get ready, Columbia. Soda City Comic Con 2025 is turning up the heat this summer. It all goes down August 23rd and 24th at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center, and the guest lineup is already packed with fan favorites. Let's start with Katie Sackhoff. Yeah, Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica and Bo-Katan Kryze from The Mandalorian and Clone Wars. She's a sci-fi icon and one of the coolest people to ever wield a blaster. Then there's John Heater, the man, the myth, the Napoleon Dynamite. From Blades of Glory to Surf's Up and everything awkwardly hilarious in between. He's bringing the signature charm to Soda City. And rounding it out, we've got Kaitlyn Robrock, the incredible voice of Minnie Mouse in Mickey Mouse Funhouse, Minnie's Bowtie Tunes, and many more. She's also voiced characters in Agrasuko, Amphibia, and Mr. Pickles, a true animation powerhouse. They'll all be there, signing autographs, taking selfies, and meeting fans all weekend long. And this is just the beginning. Even more celebrity guests are being announced. So keep checking SodaCityComicCon.com for the latest updates, guest lists, ticket info, and VIP perks. Make your summer unforgettable. Grab those tickets and come celebrate all things pop culture at Soda City Comic Con.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 267. I am Barrett Gruber, joined by Mr. Zach King. Welcome, Zach.
Welcome, Barrett.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome, Bill, to
you
the
don't
show.
welcome the host too much.
Yeah, that's true. I don't get nearly enough welcomes. Welcome, Bill. I'm not going to let you say anything. I'm going to jump right into it because I'm excited to get into the show. Please subscribe and share. Please share the show. It's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member, proudly calling yourself a true nothinger. We'll have more details on that at the end of the show. If you can't do that, please give us a 5-star review, a like, and follow us across social media. You can find all of those links at theallaboutnothing.com. Let me see. I don't have it in front of me, but I know we do have a couple things coming up. The Everplay Sports and Social League is the sign up is going on now through the 21st of August. So do that. You can go to everplaysocial.com for all the links and details on all of the leagues available. As well, 10th Masters of Putt Putt is coming up on August 23rd. You can sign up by August 22nd. You can do that over at Everplay Sports and Social as well. So make sure you do that. All right, we're going to get into it. This week, we are thrilled to welcome the voice actress Kaitlyn Robrock. She is the current voice of Minnie Mouse in popular Disney shows like Mickey Mouse Funhouse, Bo Tunes, and The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. Kaitlyn has also voiced Tommy Goodman on Mr. Pickles, as well as Mama Named Me Sheriff. She is Retsuko on Agritsuko.
Almost Retsuko's mother.
Retsuko's mother, that's right. Oh, you're Retsuko's mother. That would have been important details for me to have put in there, but thank you. As well, she is Felicia Sundu in Amphibia. Right. Okay. Kaitlyn is also one of the featured guests at this year's Soda City Comic Con, August 23rd and 24th at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center in Columbia, South Carolina. Details and tickets available at Soda City Comic Con. Welcome, Kaitlyn Robrock, to the All About Nothing podcast. Thank you for being here.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to meet you.
It was one of my biggest regrets that we didn't get to sit down with you at Coastal Comic Con, because every time we came up to talk to you, you had a long line, but then like we'd look over and Matthew Wood had nobody in line, or Ross Marquand only had like 1 or 2 people. So it was like, all right, well, we'll just jump in line here so we don't get in the way of the people that Kaitlyn is signing in pictures and autographs and things like that.
Well, those are both fantastic gentlemen. So
They
You
are.
were not bereft of talent.
They are. Matthew Watterson and everybody that was there was just fantastic. Was this the first time you had been Coastal Comic-Con with that group before?
Yes. We're all under the same con manager. And it's the first time I was in North Carolina as well.
Okay. That was the first time you've ever been in North Carolina.
Yes.
You couldn't have picked a better city, though. Like,
Yeah.
Wilmington's very
Oh,
nice.
it's beautiful.
Was there anything special you got to do in Wilmington? Did they take you out to any special places to eat?
No.
Did you happen to notice that everywhere in Wilmington costs like $30 to park for an hour?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
My feet are just as good as a car's feet.
Yeah. I'm surprised they can get parking tickets for just standing somewhere. They're listen.
Well, that's called
$5
loitering, and it's often frowned upon in most places.
Exactly.
That's right. So
I'm in line, sir.
you are the current voice of Minnie Mouse across everything that Disney does with Minnie Mouse. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And you have been Minnie Mouse since 2019 after taking Russie Taylor's position. She had passed away, but she was Minnie Mouse for 33 years.
Mm-hmm. She had done it 32 or 33 years, and her husband, Wayne Allwine, who performed Mickey Mouse, he had also done it for about 32, 33 years before his passing. They passed about 10 years apart.
Wow. That's amazing. But that isn't where you got started with Disney.
No.
You were one of the people like in the town square at Disneyland?
Yes, I worked at Disneyland as a character host. Where
How
we go out with characters. Anywhere a character can be in a park, a host can be. So we would go out and make sure our guests knew, like, oh, the line to meet Goofy is right over here. Please have your books and cameras ready. First come, first serve sort of deal. That way it's fair and square. And I could help out with the photos or translate character language if they're asking our guests a question like, oh, you have a birthday button. How old are you? Or what are you celebrating today? Or I really like the picture you drew. So we're able to help bridge that gap without taking over, of course, because the character is the star.
I gotta believe that Zach and Bill are in the same boat, but I know so many people that working for Disney, or because I worked for ABC Disney. I worked in ABC Disney radio and television in Atlanta for 7-8 years. And the perks of working for Disney were really nice. Every year for our birthday, we'd get tickets to Disney World or Disneyland. Every year on our anniversary, we'd get tickets to Disney World or Disneyland. Actually, everything came out to tickets at Disney World, but there was a time where we could actually sell those to people or give them. Okay, we could give them to people.
Yes, you can donate comp tickets for fundraising.
Yeah.
Or, my extended family's coming out. There's 4 of them, but I'm only able to sign in 3 to the park. I can use a comp ticket to be that 4th.
Yeah.
And it's a park hopper. It does have our names on it, though.
Yes, that's correct.
So, heaven forbid something terrible happens. And they go, well, let me see your ticket. Wait, this is a cast member.
Yeah.
So you just have to be respectful and careful.
Yeah.
And then keep track of where they go. Like, oh, I printed out the PDF and I donated it to this fundraiser. Okay, well, where's the proof? Do you have that website? Do you have the item up for auction to raise money? It wasn't sold. It was donated and auctioned on. You got to protect yourself and hopefully no one will be mean.
Yeah. Well, and just to be clear, this was back in like 1997, 98 when
Things have changed.
It was the Wild West. There were no rules. It was those were the days. Okay, there were rules. But so what was I guess ultimately how did you get started as a cast member at Disney? Was this something that you just, cuz a lot of the people I know that they're like, it's my dream to work for Disney or to be a cast member or to eventually work my way up into being like Princess Ariel or something like that.
I auditioned at Disneyland because everyone in college was auditioning, and I just went with the flow. And they all got hired, but I couldn't be hired at the time because my availability didn't allow for that. Because it was my first year of college at the time, and I was, we were busy working on shows or like we had to have certain classes done for our degree, and I wasn't available except for Sundays. And then like the lowest you could be would be like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I couldn't commit that time to it.
Yeah.
And then when I could commit the time to it, originally we wanted to help our character friends, but I wasn't the right height to help anybody. And then when everything lined up just right and we found that out that I couldn't help as many character friends as I would have like, a few months prior, They said, hop over to this audition room. They're in the middle of auditions for character hosting. So I hopped over there and passed the test, and I got hired that way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's still really cool. I think one of the other things that that I found really interesting is, and I didn't. So for me, and don't take offense to this, because I have a difficult time watching cartoons or watching television almost at all. For some reason, my eyes are constantly glued on the news. But Mr. Pickles, that is a much more mature show.
Adult Swim, yes.
Yeah. How is it for you going back and then, when Mr. Pickles was on, but going back and forth between those character voices?
They didn't really line up at the same time.
Okay.
Because Mr. Pickles, over the years, as it transformed and evolved to become Mama Named Me Sheriff. So Tommy went from a lead role to kind of a secondary role and then a tertiary role as needed. And that's just kind of the natural progression when you switch the focus of your show. And then we were on hiatus, extended hiatus, which is a fancy word for, I think, canceled, because unfortunately one of the stars of the show was photographed and videotaped at the insurrections. It was just easier to kind of can it rather than replace it.
Can't
and
do that.
I understood,
Actually-
and the rest of the cast and the crew understood. And there's always something new on the horizon.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of time for that chapter to close.
Or were you gonna
Yes.
say, Bill?
No, that's crazy. It's just funny because when Barrett was telling me we were gonna have the voice of Minnie Mouse on, I was like, oh, let me do a little research on some more. And I was listening to some of your work, and then I saw Mr. Pickles, and I had watched that show like crazy when it first came out. And it's just crazy to me that jump from Minnie Mouse and Mr. Pickles, that's just a wild gap.
They're opposite ends of the spectrum for sure.
What was the process like of getting from Disney to Adult Swim, or between?
It's a reversal.
Yeah, it was backwards.
Because Mr. Pickles came first. That was the first show I ever did.
That's right.
I had read for the pilot in 2012 for the daughter and the girlfriend and the mother. And then at the end of that audition, they said, do you happen to do a little boy voice? So I did a little boy voice that eventually was booked as Tommy. So that was my first big show, and it helped me get an agent. It helped me make a demo. And I did that show consistently up until 2019 or so. And then the focus had shifted and changed. So it was lightening up. And then when Minnie came around, there had been enough time in between that it had kind of calmed down. But that one came about. We filmed the first season of that through the early 2019. And then I booked Minnie end of summer of 2019. So then the first season aired after that, and we did get a renewal of a second season, but it was kind of here and there.
Gotcha.
So what got you into voice acting in general?
I saw Hook when I was 8 years old.
One of
So
my
I knew I
favorites.
wanted to be an actor because of Robin Williams. And then 2 years later, I saw Aladdin with Robin Williams, and I realized, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to act like him, but in the cartoons. That was
Fair.
the big jump of what is an actor versus a voice actor.
Right. Then did as a kid, I guess, were you trying to be like, they'll never be like me, just doing all that, the Robin Williams kind of.
Just making up voices, making up impressions, dialects, because he did that throughout the whole movie. And
Yeah.
Chicken Run was a big inspiration because there were so many voices, so many quotable lines from that movie. So switching from British to Scottish to American. So those were the two kind of training grounds, in addition to like classic Looney Tunes,
Mhm.
Disney movies, the whole gamut. We had a really rich animated upbringing and just kind of watching anything
Right.
we could get our hands on.
How
How
long
many-
have you had sorry, Barrett.
You're
Sorry.
good.
How long have you had a Minnie in your pocket, like ready to go?
Ready to go? I'd say 2010. I kind of figured out I could do it in 2005, and I was just practicing and refining it. And then
Yeah.
I felt confident about it in around 2010, but there's always room for improvement. So I just kept practicing and polishing, but I didn't pull it out for impressions or as a party trick, because I had been strongly advised, when you have a dream of being a legacy character that already exists, there's someone doing that voice, and you wouldn't want the false impression of you're gunning for the role. I could do it better. I could do it cheaper. I could do it quicker. You don't want them to assume that of you when that isn't the case. And there's been some stories around voiceover Hollywood, exactly that. where people have offered to do existing characters for cheaper, or I can do it better, or I can do it faster. And like, well, we don't know that. And why would we do that when we have the voice? And
Right.
I heard one story, a gentleman approached a very good friend of a voice actor who had passed away at the funeral and offered to pick up the mantle. And like, this is the funeral. And, when Rusi passed away, it was just such a surprise because none of us knew. And I myself admire her so much. I was just kind of melancholy for a few days, which, it's not uncommon. And I didn't talk to anybody or tell anybody anything. My agent knew, but that was it. And then like a friend or two who had kind of been around me that whole time. And then it took about 2 weeks. And then when the audition came around, I doubled down. I had friends come over I trusted who could listen and see, is it sounding the same? Am I missing something? And then recorded it and submitted it. And at that point, it's out of your hands.
Yeah. Did you know Rusi Taylor at all?
Not personally. I did get to meet her at June Foray's memorial.
Okay.
And I was working at Disneyland at the time, so I actually went there. I went to the meeting with her with the intent of telling her, like, some old friends of yours who are still at Disneyland, they say hello, because she had worked with them many times when she would go down there with Wayne to do special events. So I didn't even bring up voiceover or that I was a voice actor. It didn't feel like it was necessary. But working at Disneyland did, because there was that camaraderie there.
Well, I just kept thinking, like, that same person who's like trying to get that job of the voice actor who just passed away just is like, does anybody have words to say? And he's like, I do. He just gets up there and he's like, well, Bob's gone. Gosh.
Oh, no.
So, Zach, I will just say it's a different industry, voice acting, and the respect that people have for voice actors that have had those sort of legacy.
Right.
Where I came from in radio was completely different, because on just the hint of some disc jockey passing away that had been in his job for 15, 20, 30 years, you go to that memorial service and you go, so I hear you're going to have to replace so-and-so. And the only reason I know that to be a fact is because I did it on multiple occasions where I was at a memorial service and be like, here's my demo. Please
that guy.
consider me.
For shame.
Who did you find to do
For
that?
shame.
So one of them actually wasn't a memorial service. One of them was I want to say it was an intervention where one of the disc jockeys was being put into a Three Rivers for like heavy alcohol and drug use, and it left his position open. So I approached the program manager and was like, here's my demo. I'm available. You need an afternoon drive guy? That's me.
Barrett. You were just like, you really need to go to rehab, buddy. Okay. Barrett and the mule will take over. 9 to 5.
I'm not proud of it now. Then I was ecstatic. I thought it took all the guts in the world.
Did you get anything out of that?
I'm gonna throw stuff at Barrett next time I see him.
I did. I actually got the mid-morning show for a little while for like 6 months before I moved on.
I
guess it
I
works.
picture the studio head just has like suspenders, a tie, and a cigar, and he's like,
hey, you know what? Program managers have nothing to be proud of either. I did want to ask you. So some of the credits that you have on Wikipedia, you have A Million Ways to Die in the West. Okay.
A lot of movies on my IMDb are for ADR and looping.
Yeah. So I knew that of ADR. I knew that they couldn't always bring in the actor that voiced that for some reason. That particular part of the audio had to be replaced or whatnot. So, and that they have you specifically in mind because you have a credit of being able to potentially impersonate someone, or how does that work?
Usually things like that, if it's dialogue replacement, like for airplanes or cable TV, they'll do auditions for the actors who have foul language in the movie and see who can replace them just to fill in those lines. For like A Million Ways to Die in the West, if I recall correctly, it's Sarah Silverman's character.
No.
She's telling somebody to go with her and let's go sit in the shade and insert naughty word.
Yeah.
And so I just went in and did my best impression where we could switch it to make out instead.
Okay.
And I think I just was lucky where I was the first one of the day and it clicked and like, we're good. Let's just do that. And since it was just the audition, like, it's actually fine. We could just slide it right into the picture. And then they let all the other ladies who were waiting go home. And I felt bad because, like, how bad would I feel if I drove all the way and I was ready for my chance to be heard? And like, oh, they picked the first girl, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Did you work with did you get to meet anybody notable for that particular
Nope.
movie? No. Okay.
No, because it was literally just for that one line.
Yeah.
And since
Wow.
we do it to picture for the audition, but they just signed off right then and there. And since it was already recorded for one line, they just used the audition line in the final product. So
Wow.
they gave me a credit for it, but it's just one itty bitty little line. Whereas like the boss, I replaced Melissa McCarthy's dialogue for the naughty words throughout the whole
Gotcha.
thing.
Okay.
And then in other movies like Fantastic Four that just came out, we'll do ADR and looping for that, which is often just background. Like the crowds are screaming, so let's bring professional screamers in. We need fake alien dialogue to drown out the Silver Surfer's, agenda. So little things like that where we go in to record that sort of thing.
Wow. Does the recording take place? I know certain things you have to go there and audition, but like when you're doing Minnie Mouse, are you at home with your setup, or do you go somewhere and do you interact with like the voice actor who does Mickey now and things like that?
It depends. But usually we don't record ensemble anymore these days. It would be amazing if we could. It's so valuable and it's so good for the show. But usually with my other voice actors, I see them as one of us is coming or going in the studio if it even ends exactly on time. So plenty of times I've come in or Brett is finishing up. So I'll sneak in and kind of watch him work. Or I'm finishing up and he's there ready for his time. But that's how it mostly lines up.
You're also credited with doing a number of additional voices for like Frozen 2. If we were to watch Frozen 2, who would we be listening for in Frozen 2? Or are you allowed to credit yourself for them?
We can credit ourselves as the additional voices.
Okay.
Or the ADR loop group, because that's like Fantastic Four. It's the same where the background exclamations and worried concern of the villagers in Arendelle, or, any gathering excitement of trolls, or if there's multiple spirits talking from the ice.
Okay.
It's little things like that. Like I'd have to sit down and watch it and try to like listen and pinpoint.
Okay.
Do I remember what I did? And is that me versus, the 6 other women in the group? Like if we all auditioned for it. So I looked on a movie recently and there was a little monologue they need done for a PA system. And so they had all the ladies in the room read the monologue. And then we'll find out when the movie comes out. Okay, well, who did they pick?
Wow.
Yeah. But it's you either know or you don't.
That makes it difficult to kind of have a resume if
Not necessarily. Like showing how many movies you're on for ADR and looping, that's definitely resume enough.
Okay.
Because they can look up, okay, well, who is the loop group leader? Okay, it's a vetted and professional person. And they could reach out and say, hey, we saw that you looped on this movie and you had this actress in your group. Was there anything problematic about them where I shouldn't hire them? Or was there anything really exceptional I should know? But usually these loop groups, like they don't pick non-exceptional people. Like we want the best of the best. So you don't have anything to worry about when you're recording.
Your agent pretty much stands as your resume, I assume.
The agent, yeah, even though IMDb is not a technically legit resume website, it's pretty thorough.
Yeah.
And it is easier for everyone to access.
Yeah.
Anyone who was interested in working with me, they could reach out to the loop group leaders of movies I've worked. They can reach out to my agent. If they recognize shows that are vocal directed by certain people, they could reach out to those certain people and say, hey, I want to bring Kaitlyn in for this project. She did something similar to what we're looking for on your show. Was she difficult? Was she funny? Was she on time? Was she respectful? Reputations get around and
Sure.
People talk. You don't want someone to go through what you've been through if it was a bad experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I can imagine your work schedule must be pretty all over the place, would it not?
It's all over.
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
It's all over. And if there's something that is not singing and it's less than 30 minutes of work, I ask to record here in my booth. It saves me, a 2-hour drive to LA and a 2-hour drive back. But if it's like, hey, we need you for 3 hours, I'm going to go up there.
yeah. So
That's
where you
wild.
live in California, you're looking at a 2-hour drive.
It kind of depends. If I left at 11 a.m., it's like a 50-minute drive.
Okay.
And then hopefully if I leave at 12:30 or 1, it's an hour drive and that's it. But, I have to be there by 9. Well, it's probably an hour and 50 drive. And then if it's like, what time is it? It's 4:00. All right. How long is the drive back? 2.5 hours, especially on a Friday,
Yeah.
especially on a holiday weekend.
And you're talking to 3 South Carolinians, and we have no idea the traffic that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I grew up in Atlanta where traffic meant, and this was years and years ago, but traffic meant that you were driving 85 miles an hour, bumper to bumper traffic. Like it was, you were riding on somebody's bumper, but you were doing 85, just hoping that 7 cars in front of you, somebody wasn't going to slam on the brakes and cause a chain reaction of death.
Yeah. Our traffic is like you move about 5 miles an hour
Yeah.
every couple of minutes, just like.
Yeah. I've had to get from Pasadena to LAX in a hurry. That was an event. That was a lot of stressing, but it was.
Well, and driving home, I have little tricks and shortcuts and
That's good.
loopholes I find
That's
to
good.
cheat the system.
So you were. Go ahead. Zach. I was just going to say.
I'll go. No, I'll go. You hush. Kaitlyn, I wanted to know.
I'm going to leave that in.
What's one of the times that you went in to record? It could be throughout your career of doing voices that was the most memorable or the most exciting for you, like where you kind of looked around like, I'm doing this right now, or just kind of left an impact for you.
Well, I think it would be Thundercats Roar. I went in about 9 times with different characters every time, which was such a good feeling because they trusted me to come back and do something new. Something randomized. And it was Wes Gleason, who's one of my favorite vocal directors and casting directors. And we recorded ensemble. And it really just feeds off everybody. Like everyone's energy makes it natural, organic. You know how to respond to the melody of your previous actor. That was like Max Middleman, Erica Limbeck, Chris Alex, Patrick Seiss. They were the core group. And then we would have Dana Snyder, who I just adore to pieces. He's so funny. And Jim Mescamin and Andrew Kishino, and just so many good, Trevor Devol. We had so many good actors on that show that would come in and out. And so just knowing like I get to go play with the group again, it was super memorable. And I wish we had more ensemble records, but it was such a feel good show. Your mileage varies on who responded to the show, and everyone's taste level is different, but I thought it was hilarious. I also did not watch the original Thundercats. I was too little.
Yeah,
so
same.
What I was watching was just darn fun.
Right.
That hurts my feelings. I remember waking up and watching the shows when they aired.
Sorry about it.
Notated by his glasses.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something with that ensemble. I remember when I was younger and I would watch the original Batman, the animated series. And you would have the behind the scenes with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, and watching them in that behind the scenes just banter back and forth. I don't know if you'd have that same connection had it not been in an ensemble. And then you have the other characters bringing in the Penguin and stuff like that. But for me, I do voices, and I would love to one day to do a voice and be noted for it. But I thoroughly enjoy interviewing people like you who have been there and seen that and get to share that experience. It's fantastic.
Can I ask about the ensemble situation? Like, is there a reason that studios don't necessarily want to do ensemble recordings as much?
I think it's because I think it's mostly time and money. Everyone's schedule, can you make it where every actor can be available from 2 to 6 p.m. every Thursday to record? It knocks everyone out in one day in 4 hours. But, can everyone guarantee that?
Yeah.
With minimal, like, oh, well, I am not here this day because of a dentist. Okay, we can come in and loop that in later. Like, but if everyone is just so mixed up and no one has the same time available, then you got to just kind of do it whenever it is possible. And supposedly it's cheaper, but I don't see how because you're renting the studio so often.
Yeah. Well,
regardless, it's usually just timing wise.
How does that work in an ensemble in a non-ensemble recording? Do you wind up hearing, say, the I guess the voice that comes before you, what you then have to say in the script, or how does that generally work?
Usually, our intuitions, like for our Mickey Mouse projects, our intuitions are pretty strong. So I can hear in my mind what Brett's going to say or what Bill's going to say or what Tress is going to say. And so I'll give a line read 3 different ways to anticipate, well, which way would they choose if I'm answering a question? But sometimes if they know, like, oh, well, Brett was the first to record on this episode, let's play you in with his remark, and then I can jump off of it.
Gotcha.
So I'd say we do that a solid third of the time. And then sometimes I'm the one who cracks the ice on it, and they'll all follow my lead.
Right.
Is there any ad-libbing allowed with, or is it
Ad-libbing,
pretty strict?
it's strict enough with the script because, we're on a time crunch.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we're not ad-libbing beyond our audience's understanding, since, like, for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, it is very little ones.
Yeah.
But we might ad-lib a little bit to, like, oomph up the scene. Or I often get, like, 5-line monologues with no period.
Yeah.
It's like, well, here, let me kind of rewrite it to say it this way. That way it comes off more structured and comes off more clear. And then we might improv a couple words to help bridge it, but we don't ad-lib too much. Any ad-libbing we do is really kind of just meant to be funny and to entertain everyone on the Zoom call.
Oh,
Sure.
And I've heard plenty of Bill's outtakes, that won't be used, but they were just some fun little improvs.
Sure.
And it's just lightening the mood.
So
I
that's
want to go ahead. Well, go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, so I'm guessing there's I've heard a bunch of stuff where Tom Kenny is very well known for having the craziest outtakes on stuff, and they just have to, none of it will ever be seen by the public for Nickelodeon. I can imagine that there's a lot of that going on with Disney.
Yeah, any actor who's got the comedic chops will just kind of goof around for the heck of it. Fred Tatasciore does, Jim Cummings does, Robin Williams did a bunch of times. There's that hour of unused audio from Aladdin.
Right.
He just went off on a tangent and well, what do we keep and what do we get rid of? So it's all
That's gotta be so
somewhere. And I
funny.
always kind of wish they would have let's animate a goof reel like Pixar used to do, the outtake reel. I think that stuff is so funny.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I want to remind everybody that Kaitlyn is one of the featured guests this year at the Soda City Comic Con here in Columbia, South Carolina on August 3rd and 24th. Against tickets are available. And they're going to be able to come up and actually get to see you and talk to you.
I'll have stickers.
So what's your suggestion? When you do these Comic Cons, do you prefer to have, what's your preference on having people bring stuff, or do you prefer to have them maybe purchase any of the headshots or the pictures and things like that?
We usually guests of a con, their con manager and the con purveyor, they have a set structure agreement of what do we sign, what is your autograph, any audio messages, things like that. For me, the rule of thumb is we are selling our autographs, so it's the name itself. It does not necessarily matter what is being purchased. So I certainly do have prints for sale, or to be given with the autograph, I should say. So, because technically, I'm not selling those prints. I'm selling the autograph that goes on it. That's just a method of a pretty picture that could house the autograph. And I always print extras of classic Minnie. That way, if someone just wanted to say hi, they can't afford an autographed photo, but the little one has, they don't understand. That's why I bring stickers for them. Or if they do buy an autograph to put on the child's wall, sometimes the child won't understand. Well, why can't I have that?
Yes.
Why are you keeping it away? So I'll have a second print that I don't autograph, but that way I can give it to the child for free, and they have something for their hands. And one little girl was real smart. She noticed that the picture I gave her, it was the same as the one I had autographed for her parents, but it didn't have the blue stuff on it, so it wasn't the same. So I just drew a bunch of blue hearts on it, and that made her happy because she couldn't read. So
You can't
to
get
her,
it past
it's
the
exactly
kids.
the same.
Yeah.
And so if guests had things they wanted me to sign, it would be that same price, but I would sign their item, and I would take very great care to make sure it is a good autograph. It's visible. It's nice with a quote and, all the nice fancy stuff. Sometimes they'll bring tiny little Lorcana cards, and so I'll sign it, but it's so small, and I hope it's not, too bad.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, Kaitlyn, you were the very first person that I've ever gotten an autograph from at a con.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did a video for us as well, and it made my daughter's day. She was just like, what?
What? Yeah.
Minnie Mouse?
Oh, I love hearing that.
How is that voice coming out of her and not Minnie Mouse? Is that something you had to explain to her, Zach?
So I let her hear it first
Okay.
and then see it. And she understands it. Even when, when I brought her up here to meet you real quick again, I explained it and she didn't care. She was like, this is fantastic. As soon as you do the voice, she's just like.
And how old is she?
She's 4.
Yeah, 4 and 5, that's when they kind of start understanding, like, if someone's doing a silly voice, like, and they certainly understand, like, what the phone is and what a voicemail is, like, if mom or dad calls. So a voicemail from a character friend, that's much easier to understand than a video.
Yeah.
If it's the person doing the voice, they'll just see, like, well, that's not that. That's just some person. But if it's a faceless audio, that magic is still there because they know what that is. Or I'll hold up a plush or a picture just to preserve the magic for little ones. That way they don't just see some lady doing it.
Well, how long have you been doing the comic or the con tour?
A couple of years now. I wanted to just do a couple of years to get my feet wet. And it's very fun. It's really nice to travel and just get outside the state. But I'm definitely looking forward to more cons this year and next year and beyond. Just now that things in my personal life have settled down immensely from where they were during the pandemic, where I now have that freedom.
Yeah. Because you were born and raised in San Diego, which, for the record, is absolutely one of the most perfect places on the planet when it comes to like weather and everything. Because like almost year round, it's like between 85 and 75 degrees, like almost year round. There are no earthquakes as far as
Reaching
people
down there, very few.
Yeah, but the only thing that you ever
though.
Yeah. Well, were you swept up in any of the tsunami warnings? Did you have friends or anybody that talked about the tsunami warnings from last night?
Not on this side. I have heard about it over in Hawaii, so I hope things are okay.
Yeah. I think that for the most part, the warning system really worked out very well, and that by the time I think that it reached Hawaii, that it was a lot of it was. I think they said it may have gone up like 6 inches to 12 inches, something like that, but it wasn't devastating. The beach impact was marginal. But yeah, that's one of those things. Like I've been to San Diego, and I'm just constantly in awe of how great the weather is there year round. And like the only thing that I ever heard was potentially something that would deter people from wanting to live in San Diego was, well, one, the cost, but two, the wildfires. But that and the wildfires can be bad on those years that they occur. But yeah, San Diego is just absolutely one of the most gorgeous things. What was it like growing up in San Diego, though?
Well, to me, it felt normal.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I lived there, until I turned 18, and then I moved to Irvine for college. And then I moved to Anaheim after I graduated college to work at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I'm still here in Anaheim because the commute isn't bad. And I had the plans to move to LA, but when the fire struck earlier, I was hoping to move this year. But when the fire struck, there's families already living in LA who need homes right now. So there's no reason I need to move up when people need it that much more. I'll just keep commuting. And Anaheim is the halfway mark between work and San Diego. That way I could go see my family in San Diego as often as I can.
So Angels or Dodgers?
Neither. What is
Padres? What is Well, you know what? In all honesty, the only definition I have for what sports is cost.
Sure.
It's a cost.
I mean, I could sit in a friend's truck in the driveway and have my own tailgate party.
That's true. That's true.
I've done it. It's good.
What are you looking forward to Columbia? As far as do you have any questions about Columbia that maybe we could answer for you?
I did have a question about Soda City Comic Con. Yes.
Okay.
How much soda is there, and will I have access to it?
You know what? So that is a great question. And I can tell you that there is a fantastic vendor that is going to be at Soda City Comic Con who actually has one of these really large setups. And if you tell your handler to tell us, we will make sure that you have a cup. And anytime you want a soda, one of us will run down there and get it for you. We'll take care of that.
Okay.
I'll also make sure that Brock pays for that. But we'll get that.
Do you want to know the letdown of why it's called Soda City Comic Con?
Oh, you may as well tell me now.
The abbreviation for Columbia is COLA. And people just called it soda.
Well, it's also so the soda part also comes from the fact that PepsiCo is one of the major, for a long time, was one of the major employers here in Columbia, South Carolina. We have a bottle. I don't think it was a bottling plant. I think it was a actual. I'm originally from Atlanta, so Coca-Cola is what we were always. If you saw
Caffeine-free
Pepsi,
diet vanilla Coke with light ice. That's me.
yeah. So, but it was everything. You call everything a Coke. You want a Coke? You want a Diet Coke? You
Yeah, it was the standard for everything.
yeah.
Or a
but-
pop,
Well, here at the
as my
South
cousins would
especially.
call it.
Yeah. So PepsiCo still has a manufacturing plant here in Columbia. So any sporting events you go to, they're always selling Pepsi. Pepsi just sort of has its grip on Columbia, South Carolina. So to have PepsiCo here and then for it to be Cola is the shortened version of Columbia, it just kind of made it natural. So a few years ago,
What did I say?
the same thing. But eloquent and with volume. So with Soda City came about a while ago, but one of the things that they've begun to do, Columbia has really grabbed onto that Soda City title. So every Saturday there is what they call Soda City Market on Main Street in Columbia, where they basically shut down the street every Saturday and allow vendors to come in and use space to sell everything from locally sourced vegetables and fruits and things like that. They have wine. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Wineries that will come and sell. People come down there with the artwork. They'll have musicians that will stand in the center and open their guitar case and play and sing and things like that. And it happens every single Saturday.
Yeah.
So if I know that Comic Con on Saturday starts at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
But if it's some way that you could ever get here when you're not working and experience the Soda City Market, it's a lot of fun. And the people that run it are really good people. They've really built that into something that's pretty amazing.
I like that. I'll put a pin in that.
Have you ever had mustard barbecue before?
Oh, I'm not a huge mustard fan, but if this is like prepared a certain way, I'm always willing to give it a try.
Yeah. So
You're going to
Very much
find
is.
mustard and vinegar here. Mustard being a number one in Columbia.
there is also a restaurant near where they're probably putting you up called the Blue Marlin. That is
Blue Marlin.
one of the I guess I want to say it's probably one of the restaurants that everyone is told to go and try when they come. We also have Polly's Front Porch, which I don't endorse specifically because the guy that owns it, but it has been on diners, drive-ins, and dives with Guy Ferrari, right? Am I saying that right?
Fieri.
Yeah,
whatever.
Fieri. I'll tell you my number one. And Roger Clark took me up on this and he said he loved it. Backstreet's Grill. It's very good. And they have a Cuban that is to die for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Columbia has some really good food. And it's when you come, that's probably one of the things that you want to make sure that you try and insist that Brock take care of.
Okay.
The Black Rooster is used to be a French restaurant. They recently switched over to doing Italian. But it's one of the best restaurants you could possibly eat at. And then right across the street is a place called Dee's Wings that has made wings for like 100 years or probably not that long. But
I also
it's
I
really
also
good.
recommend Market on Main. Market on Main is probably one of my favorite restaurants in Columbia.
Yeah.
I love food, so you're singing my language.
But
You're going to see a lot of this guy behind me everywhere with garnet and black chickens strewn everywhere.
Well, he's got a nice smile.
Yes,
It
he
is
does. He
the-
will not leave my room. I don't know.
it is
what
the
his
it
problem
is the start of football season. It's
That'll do it.
there's some contention with who to root for, but when you're in Columbia, it's sort of a thing. You gotta root for the Gamecocks. So really, really appreciate you being on, Kaitlyn. Before we let you go,
Absolutely.
we're going to give you a choice. So with our guests, we either ask them 7 questions that we ask all of our guests, or we've started a new thing that I'm trying to get going called controversial opinions, where the 3 of us give you a controversial opinion that you have to agree with. You have to say which one you agree with or potentially agree with.
Let's do that one. Give me a challenge.
All right. Zach, you got one you want to go first?
Yeah, I can do it. There is no Epstein list in the dumbest way possible.
Okay,
That's
and what's
pretty good.
yours, Barrett?
All right. And I wrote this down a while ago. So giving 2 weeks notice to a company or corporation that is antiquated. I believe giving 2 weeks notice is antiquated and outdated.
Okay. And Bill?
I think that hand dryers in bathrooms are a scam.
That's tempting. That is tempting. But I'm going to have to go with Barrett, because if you give them 2 weeks notice, a lot can happen in 2 weeks. And what if they suddenly were like, hey, we actually found this. You're going to be fired with nothing. Or, well, we have your payout, but something happened. A complete glitch happened 3 days ago, and now you don't get your payout. You don't know what could happen if you give them the notification that you're leaving. Especially when it's usually meant to be like a bartering tool to get better pay. So if you have a new job and you're not coming back, just say, hey, man, I quit. Bye. Figure it out.
They won't give you 2 weeks when
they didn't give you the time off you needed for funerals or weddings or to take care of your wife or like, hey, can you come in? I'm short-staffed tomorrow. Like, dude, I'm in Indiana. No, this is very disrespectful of you. What's disrespectful of you? I quit.
Yeah.
Quit.
Fair.
Push it through. No 2 week notice so you can replace me. No. You've made me suffer, so you suffer.
I feel justified. And to all the people that have told me that I should still give 2 weeks notice when I leave my job, Kaitlyn said it. If she had said it as Minnie Mouse, that would have even been better. But
if
I'm not
you care about the
job
and the people and you want the job to succeed, you can discuss it with them, because you could always say, you know what, scratch the 2 weeks, I'm quitting today. But it's meant to help the employer find someone to replace you.
That is
but
right.
Have they helped you before? Is it a friend of yours or someone who has actually supported you as an employer and you don't want them to hurt beyond that? Sometimes those are rare.
I have said
so
it
your
over
mileage
and over.
may vary, but they're not your family and they're not your friends unless you started up with your friends. They are a business.
That's
and
right.
You have to decide what is more important in your life, this business or moments you cannot get back.
I
never take business personal.
I have said it over and over to people that the only loyalty that company has to you is the paycheck that they give you, and they can cut that off whenever they want.
Or they could find a reason why it didn't process, or you're going to get paid less. You are expendable and you're a drop in the bucket. But to your daughter's first dance recital, you're not expendable. It's essential that you're there. Your father's getting on in years, and this might be the last time you get to speak to him. That has to come first. I don't see why companies don't understand that people are people. Would you not yourself want those things if you had a boss? Whenever you did have a boss before you became CEO? Yeah. Some people have to learn the hard way.
And I'll just say this, ironically, reverse of what you said, I'm always hoping the last time I talk to my father is the last time I talk to my father.
Not me. I miss my dad. Thanks, Barrett. You don't want to be Robin Williams at the beginning of Hook because your job sucks that hard.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Kaitlyn, again, thank you very much. I want to remind everybody that Kaitlyn is one of the featured guests at the Soda City Comic Con this year, August 23rd and 24th at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. Tickets are available at sodacitycomiccon.com. Kaitlyn, the room that they have for you all is very, very nice. And it is directly adjacent. There's very little walk to where you'll be doing panels.
That's
where you'll be doing the panels. But we will be there, and we are going to wind up pulling you aside at some point to sit down with you and get to chat about your experience with the Soda City Comic Con. We can talk a little about Coastal Comic Con if you'd like in the experience, and you can talk as much crap about Brock as you like.
Yeah, because we'll make him watch.
It's every young girl's dream.
I will make him put it on YouTube. So, listen, Kaitlyn, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Zach, Bill, thanks for being here as well. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. That's going to do it for episode number 260. What did I say? 7. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available on our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? Members get early access to this episode as well as exclusive content. Visitors can visit members.theallaboutnothing.com, or you can find a link on our webpage. You can also give us a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. You can also join our Discord server, links found on our webpage. Thank you very much for everyone for listening. You all stay safe, be kind,
and keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Big Media and produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. You can follow me across social media by visiting Linktree/Barrett Gruber. And you can follow Zach King on Linktree/AANZach. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. To find links to our social media, podcast platforms, and merchandise to support the show, as well as past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com, or you can call our number and leave a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our sister shows. What the Pod Was That with Carrie, Zach, and myself. Welcome to Wonderland with Ami. Politically Speaking with Erica, Kirsten, and Emily. And Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks and Bill Kimmler. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and punch that notification bell. Thank you for listening, and hear us next week. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved. Hey everybody, it's Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. Make sure to mark your calendars. The 10th Masters of Putt-Putt tees off Friday, August 22nd at Frankie's Fun Park from 6:30 to 8:15. Teams of 3 or more dressed in themed outfits. They will battle for glory and prizes. Register your team by August 21st and don't be late. Putting starts at 6:45 sharp. Check out everplaysocial.com for more details. Everplay Social's 10th Masters of Putt-Putt. Again, August 22nd at Frankie's Fun Park in Columbia.